This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho there. It's Jeff Carter. I'm welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, October the 6th, 1985, the day after his Yankees blew the AL East pennant to the Toronto Blue Jays, my beloved Toronto Blue Jays, Phil Niekro pitched in the final game of the 1985 season and got win number 300 in Toronto at the Jays' expense. So I could have easily, for October 5th, did the one about the Blue Jays winning their first division pennant in history. But the problem was that, I'm having a lot of baseball things for World Series and playoffs. So, and then I found out about October 5th being the day that the NHL came back from their strike. So I'm thinking, well, that's much better. I mean, it's not baseball, but it's an important lesson. So, yeah, so the 1985 Toronto Blue Jays were excellent. 99 wins in their season, but a big jank one. So they were good. They looked like they were the heavy favorites to win the ALCS against the Kansas City Royals. But sadly, though, the Royals won in 7 games, despite the fact the Jays were out 3-1 in that LCS. And if it was 1984, with the LCS was being best of 5, the Jays would have been in the playoffs against the St. Louis Cardinals, and Ozzie Smith's home run in Game 5 of the NLCS would have been much more legendary. But, nevertheless, let's talk about this. So the Jays and Yankees were actually duking it out for the divisional pennant. And if you're like me and read Tom Cheek's book about the first 16 years of the Blue Jays, I still have that Tom Cheek book. Obviously, I can't get it autographed because he's dead. But regardless, Road to Glory, I've had that book since what? I was in grade 11, since I was 16, so that's about 2 decades. But yeah, it's the go-to book for me for the Blue Jays. Strange enough. So anyway, regardless of that, the Blue Jays and Yankees were fighting each other in September 1985 for the division. The Blue Jays went into a critical 4-game series at Yankee Stadium, with taking 3 of them. Unfortunately, though, it would be marred by the fans booing the Canadian national anthem. But the legendary PA announcer Bob Shepard, before Game 2 of the 4-game series, basically told the Yankee fans that we shouldn't boo Canada because of the fact that the Canadians went to help the Iranian hostages and all that, and helped us out. There was still a smattering of boos. And worst of all, the 3rd game, which was a Saturday night game, was when Mary O'Dowd, a Irish American singer, because it was Irish night at the ballpark, mangled Canada. Not like Casey Parks, in which he mangled it. He knew the lyrics, but he couldn't know the tune. And singing like "Oh Christmas Tree." It was basically, her version was that she did it to the tune, but she didn't know the words. So she botched it, and the fans went nuts in Canada. But I mean, what can you do? Canadian national anthem's not easy to remember. So anyway, the Jays took 3 out of 4. It was close down to the final weekend. The Blue Jays needed to win on the Friday. They would have had the division. They just needed to win 1 game. Unfortunately, though, Tom Hankey gave up a home run to Butch Weingart, who's not really a home run hitter. So anyway, that failed. But the next day, Saturday afternoon, the Blue Jays sent Doyle Alexander on the mound, and he won the game 5-1. Of note, that game was supposed to be in Canada on TSN, but because of how important it was, TSN gave up its rights to the broadcast and gave it to CTV. Not the non-cable network, like the actual station. So anyhow, the Blue Jays won that game 5-1. But in the next game, the Blue Jays could rest their players for Kansas City. The Yankees were still doing something. So Phil Niekro comes to the mound. He's 15-12. He faces John Cerruti, R.I.P. So anyway, the Blue Jays didn't really use too many of their stars and all that. They gave him a lot of time off. The Yankees still put up a pretty good lineup. Ricky Henderson in center. Don Mattingly at first. Dave Winfield in right. Don Baylor DHing. Wow, Baylor played for the Yankees? Didn't know that. Andre Robertson in third base. Who the hell is he? Willie Randolph at second. Henry Cotto in left field. Cotto. Butch Weingart at catcher and Bobby Meacham at short. The Jays countered with Damaso Garcia at second. Rick Leach in left field. Lou Forden in right. Cecil Fielder at first base. Yeah, that's Cecil Fielder. Jeff Burrows DHing. Kelly Gruber at third. Ron Shepard at center. Jeff Herron at catcher. And Manny Lee at shortstop. So, yeah, basically they rested all their starters and all that. The Yankees would score 3 runs in the inning. Helped out by a ground ball error by Mr. Damaso Garcia. Henry Cotto got 2 runs, 2 RBIs on the play. Willie Randolph got hit by a pitch, but the bases loaded. Make it 3-0. And on it went. Mike Pagliaro came into the game to pinch hit for Andre Robertson. And he hit a home run off of Jim Acker. So that was critical. I don't know why they went with that. Pagliaro went to third base. Dan Pasqua went into the outfield to replace Ricky Henderson. So they took Ricky out of the game. Weird. And then Henry Cotto moved to the center field. Pasqua would play left field. The Jays were not really that good at him. The Jays decided to use Bill Caldwell in the 7th. And Garth Orch came into the game to play for Damaso Garcia. Obviously, you got to rest Damaso for the playoffs. Henry Cotto would hit a 2-run home run off of Cotto off Codrell to score him and Willie Randolph. And then Don Mattingly went deep off Steve Davis, not the snooker star. The Blue Jays were at what's that? They were down 8-0. Phil Niekro was looking for his 300th win. In the bottom of the ninth, Rick Leach grounded out. Lou Forden popped out, and Tony Fernandez decided to pinch hit for Fielder. He hits a double, but Jeff Burrows whiffs on a seemingly harmless knuckleball. Phil Niekro gets his 300th career win, and the Yankees win. It didn't win the division, obviously, but, there's still pride to play for. Unfortunately for the Yankees, this would be the high water point of the 1980s for them. They went downhill fast. It wasn't until 1994 when they came back to life, so that's terrible. The Blue Jays, as I said, would go on to the ALCS and get beaten by the Royals. The Blue Jays were constantly doing well in the AL East for many years until the strike of 94 just ruined us. So that's good for Yankee fans. I still hate the Yankees and all that. Obviously, the Yankees beating Tampa, forcing the Blue Jays out of the playoff hunt. I'm not too happy about it. But that is what it is. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.